The shelter worker's hand was shaking as she opened cage 47. "I'm sorry," she whispered to the orange and white cat inside. "I'm so sorry." It was Euthanasia Day. The cat had been there for 9 months. No adoption interest, no foster offers, just a number on a list that had finally run out of time. But what walked through that shelter door in the next 60 seconds would prove that sometimes miracles arrive exactly when hope dies. Buttons wasn't supposed to be alive that morning. His name was on the list, cage 47, orange and white male, approximately 3 years old, no behavioral issues, just unlucky. In shelters, unlucky is a death sentence. The room was already set up, the injection prepared. The worker had done this hundreds of times, but today her hands wouldn't stop shaking because Buttons wasn't aggressive, wasn't sick, wasn't broken. He was just out of time. She opened the cage door and Buttons walked out calmly, like he understood. His amber eyes were clear, trusting even now. He rubbed against her leg, purring softly, completely unaware that this was supposed to be his last moment. That's when the shelter door burst open. A woman rushed in, breathless, frantic. "Wait, please wait. I called 20 minutes ago about the orange cat." The worker froze. "Cage 47? Yes, I've been stuck in traffic for an hour. Please tell me I'm not too late." The silence in that room was deafening. Buttons sat between them, tail wrapped around his paws, looking from one human to the other. If you're watching this and you've ever wondered how close these animals really come to the edge, stay right here. Because what you're about to hear will either make you call your local shelter today or haunt you forever. And if you believe that every life deserves a fighting chance, even when the clock hits 0, smash that subscribe button. The worker looked at the clock. 9:47 a.m. The euthanasia was scheduled for 9:45. Technically, the decision had already been made. The paperwork was signed. "You called about him?" Her voice cracked. "Yes, I saw his photo on the website last night. I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing his face." The worker's eyes filled with tears. "You have no idea how right you are." She handed Buttons to the woman. The cat went willingly, pressing his orange and white face against her neck, purring so loudly it echoed off the concrete walls. "His name is Buttons. He's been here 9 months. You're literally the first person who has ever asked about him." The woman's hands were trembling as she held Buttons closer. 9 months? How is that possible? Look at him. That's exactly the problem. He's not a kitten, he's not exotic, he's just a regular orange and white cat. And in shelters, regular doesn't get noticed. Regular doesn't get saved. The drive home was silent, except for Buttons' steady purring from the carrier. The woman kept glancing back at him, still processing what had almost happened. How many minutes, maybe seconds, had stood between Buttons and death? When they arrived home, she set up everything carefully. Food, water, litter box, soft bed by the window. But when she opened the carrier, Buttons didn't hide. He walked out, looked around once, then jumped straight onto the couch and curled up like he'd been living there his entire life. "You knew, didn't you?" she whispered. Buttons opened one amber eye, chirped softly, and went back to sleep. The trust was instant, absolute, like he'd been waiting his whole life for this exact moment. Now here's where people divide into 2 very different camps. Some believe animals don't really understand what's happening in shelters, that Euthanasia Day is just another day to them. But others believe animals know exactly what's at stake, that they feel every day of being overlooked, that they understand when someone finally chooses them. What do you think? Are we giving them too much credit or not enough? Drop your perspective in the comments because this debate changes everything about how we view shelter animals. The first week was almost eerie in its smoothness. Buttons adapted like he'd been planning this his whole life. He knew where the litter box was without being shown. He ate at regular times. He claimed the sunny windowsill immediately. It was like watching someone move into a home they'd already memorized from dreams. But the real transformation came 2 weeks in. She was working from home, stressed about a deadline, when Buttons jumped onto her desk. He sat down directly on her keyboard and meowed. Not a soft chirp. A full, demanding meow. "Buttons, I'm working." Another meow, louder. Then he reached out with one white paw and gently touched her face. A touch that said, "I see you. I'm here. You're not alone." She broke down. All the stress, all the fear of almost being too late, all the weight of knowing how close Buttons had come to dying just because no one noticed him. And Buttons sat there through all of it, purring, occasionally touching her face with that same gentle paw. Three months have passed since that impossible morning. Buttons' coat now shines like polished amber and fresh snow. He's gained weight, looks like a cat who has never known a single day of worry. Every morning at 7 a.m., he pats her face to wake her up. Every evening, he waits by the door exactly 5 minutes before she arrives home. The shelter called 2 weeks ago. They wanted to feature Buttons in a success story campaign. She looked at Buttons, sprawled across her laptop, making work impossible, but making life infinitely better. "You want me to bring him back to the place that almost killed him?" The silence on the other end was heavy. "We're trying to do better." "Then stop calling them overlooked. Start calling them what they are, abandoned by a society that values cuteness over character. And start telling people the truth about how close these animals come to dying." But here's what keeps her up at night. Buttons was in cage 47. There were 89 other cages in that shelter. She arrived with less than 2 minutes to spare. What about the cats in the other cages? How many of them had people stuck in traffic who didn't make it in time? How many are still there right now, watching the door, waiting for someone to notice them before their number comes up? And here's the question that haunts her. What if that traffic had been 5 minutes worse? What if she'd ignored that feeling at 2 a.m. when she saw Buttons' photo? Would Buttons be just another statistic? How many Buttons are we losing every single day because someone was 5 minutes too late?